screen, but we're on. Sorry, that's me, guys. 1 second here. The black screen gets me every time. All right, welcome to Wednesday's live show, Horse Center. I am Julie Ramjeet, and I'm here with my co-host, Swiss Army Sean, and the one and only Chili Willie Martinez. Thank you so much for coming back on. This is not his first time on the show. We wanted to bring him on tonight. He is another George Woolf nominee, our second of the week. So welcome, Willie. How are we feeling?
Thank you. How are you guys? I'm doing great.
So tell us about the George Woolf nomination, right? So exciting. Tell us when you found out. How was that moment for you?
Well, a friend of mine, Herbie Rivera, that works for the Jockey Guild, and we used to ride together. You know, we have a close friendship, and he's like, "You're nominated this year," and I'm like, "Oh wow!" So it was very overwhelming, as you can imagine. It's a big, huge thing for your peers to recognize your hard work and integrity, passion, and dedication, of our job. And the company stuff, just such a great company and amazing. I mean, I feel like a winner already. I already, told my family and Jamie, if we don't win it this year, great. I mean, I just all the guys are awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I am in good company and in tough competition for sure.
Absolutely. And I failed to tell people who didn't know what the Wolf Award actually honors on Monday with Terry. So I'll take a moment. It honors riders whose careers and personal character earn esteem for the individual and sport of thoroughbred racing. So one of the things I touched on with Terry when he was on Monday is the amount of horses he's ridden. And pulling your stats, I'm in awe as well. Over 26,000 mounts in your lifetime. Wow.
That's a lot of
Does it feel like you've thrown your legs over 26,000 horses? Like, that's incredible.
So there's a lot of riding, and a lot of times are going around the racetrack without including the mornings. It's a lot. I can imagine, some of the other guys, Hall of Famers and TD, such a great career. Like, I mean, his numbers are crazy, and at the places that he's done it, it's just amazing. They don't call him the Iron Man for nothing, right? So, but I mean, I have been very, very blessed.
So speaking of 26,000 mounts, you also have 3,606 wins. So how many of those, if we just bring up a random horse, how many of those do you actually remember?
Well, I mean, I can remember from the first race I won. Philly won. I won the race with. Her name was Laglace, Laglace, for Bill Noriega. He was a Cuban trainer that used to train here back in the days in Tampa, and gave me the opportunity. Not to mention that I won 2 races before that, so I broke my maiden twice. If you look it up, I probably in the Guinness record. So they took me down twice before I became an official.
Oh my gosh!
True story.
Looking back, do you think you deserve to be taken down?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people don't know that the minute I stepped on the racetrack on the backside at Finger Lakes in '88, I was only like 16, turning 17 years old, and I didn't know nothing about horses. I'm like, man, yeah, I grew races six.
Willie, I was born in '88.
Shut up. Anyhow, 6 months after that, I was already riding races. So like it happened so quick, and I pushed myself, and just a lot of craziness and mayhem behind it. But I look back, and I will do it all over again the same way.
Sorry, Sean, go ahead.
Go ahead, Julie.
I was just going to ask, I hear that you're such an advocate for the other riders, not just in your colony, but just as a community as a whole across the board. Tell us a little bit about what you've done for your peers in the racing community, and what's more to come, because I feel like there's so many things that can raise the standard for basic care and basic needs of the riders in many different racetrack communities.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I cannot, credit myself to anything. I mean, we have done it with the guys. When you believe in something and you stick together, you can accomplish more, and you are respected more. And in this industry, listen, we know that we have a lot of flaws here and there, but when it comes to safety for the riders, health insurance, things like that, we've been fighting for those things for a long, long time. I was one of the riders. I forgot what year. You can look it up at Churchill Downs. I got kicked off the ground. There was 14 of us, and it just simply because they split. And it's funny because to try to make it a short story, leading up to that day, we had a piece of overnight, the back of it, and we all signed up. This is the day that we're going to stand up for what we believe. And we went after the big dog, sorry, Churchill Downs. And I was riding at the time at Church in Kentucky, and my business had gone down and back up right about that time. And it just sucked for me. But when you believe in something, you just got to go for it. So they split up in two ways. 14 of us goodbye, and the other ones, and it was a big thing. It was like,
Wow.
then we getting phone calls left and right from all over the country. Hey, listen, we are tired of riding for $100,000 coverage, and I'm worth more than that to my family. So we had a few riders that got hurt. We had was a Bizzer that got hurt at Mountaineer and got paralyzed. Is it Gary? Right?
That sounds
Yeah,
right.
Right, and he was a really he's super nice guy. And Tony D'Amico that rode with me in Kentucky. All these happened back to back while the British Cup took place that year in Texas. And how it started was just the British Cup told the guys that, yeah, we'll cover you for I don't know, let's say $500,000 for the weekend when we leave. And that opened up, that cracked the door. So you can do this because of the, let's say the big fish, but the little guys, when you leave town, they go back to their policy. And that was the moment. Like, and in between that, during that time, we had issues with the old jockey skill, the management and all that. Everything just hit. Our insurance collapsed, and I'm like, dude, we have no insurance. We out of it. We out of it. I went to visit Tony D'Amico in the hospital, and he's making a decision with his wife. Well, let's just sell our rental property so we can do your shoulder, and then we'll sell our rental house here so you can do the ribs.
That's awful.
That was a true story. The news were waiting for us. The TV, the channel news are outside waiting on us. I'm like, this is for real. This is not a joke. This is a jockey's life,
Right.
and this could happen to me tomorrow. And what am I gonna, what am I gonna do with my family? Luckily, I didn't have kids right at the time. Look at me now, and I can win up. But still, I fought for the little guys that couldn't afford insurance. The guys that ride the 99 one shot every day. If it wasn't for those horses, the races don't go. Who rides those horses?
Absolutely.
So there's a lot to that people don't think. All right, I'm gonna step up and ride a 99 one shot. You know what I mean? Hey, it helped to make the car. I'm contributing to the industry. I'm putting my life there to do my thing, and I'm getting paid, whatever. And so we fought for that, and I'm glad and proud of it. If I have to do it again, I'll do it all over again.
You should be. That's incredible. I wish that, we need people like you in our colony here. We need more of you. We need more Willies, more TDs, more Deshawns, people who will step up and try to do the right thing. Let's compare colony, from when you started, circa 88, 90s to now. What's the biggest change you see in the room with these younger guys?
Well, a lot of sort of like attitude adjustments. Now, some of them are good kids. I mean, like if you really look at most of the jockeys, the new generation that are dominated, the Hispanic riders that come from a good riding school and all that, that's a good foundation. Not everybody has that. You have the Kentucky riding school that is, I don't know what year it opened up. And there's a lot of riders that they come so polished already, and they walk in the jocks, and like when you're riding races with them, you're like, holy crap. Like So like the Ortiz brothers, you have all these, so many names. Gaffalione, he just took off not recently. This kid just started riding the other day.
Right.
And when I look at Equibase, I'm like, oh my God. So they used to ride, they riding for so unbelievable amount of money. And listen, rightfully for right now, like time goes by and it's not their fault. You're riding for what it is.
Times have changed.
Man, I wish I could have rode back then for some of that money.
Heck yeah. Do you think that the guys are as teachable and willing to learn from the older guys as they were back in your time coming in as a youngster?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, I can't say, for the most part, young riders, they want to, the ones that you see at the top, they just don't get to the top just like that. They're dedicated to it. You know what I mean? Like they want to learn. They come up to you and ask. They study races. They do their homework. And that's a great quality to have. And if you have a good work ethic, and you get up every morning, you knock every door, you're gonna make success. You're gonna make your own luck. And these kids are, they're doing great. This last, I'd say decade or so, I've seen a lot of rising up young blood, that great riders. A lot of names. I don't want to keep, because there's so many good names.
Sure. Well, let's get in with the question. We have one from Jeffrey Doyle. Who was your mentor?
A friend of mine. He's no longer a rider. Jose Rivera II. He was the one that took me under his wing. He was back then a Finger Lakes rider, Tampa Bay Downs. Then he ended up in Miami for years, and then he retired. He invested his money in real estate. He did really good. So he took me under his wing. He, I don't know, for some reason he liked me. I used to watch his
Harry Hernandez.
Harry Hernandez. Yeah. So Harry's been a big part. Listen, all of my friends have been a big part, because they were an inspiration to me in some way.
I love that. Continue with your story. Sorry, I had to throw Paula's comment in there.
No. So yeah, back in those days, Jose was the one that, took me under his wings. I got rolled off, kicked up from Finger Lakes, the backside. I didn't know I was sneaking up the track, blah, 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 blah. I get cut one morning and sent to the farm to break babies. And then that's how I learned how to ride. I didn't know nothing about riding. I didn't knew how to manage a horse to go this way or that way, steering, and the balance. The timing came later, because with babies is all more reflex and fear. The babies suck up the fear out of you right away if they do it one way or the other. And that's what happened. I used to hit the ground 8-9 times a day. I'm like, man, do I really want to do this? So then I went back to the track, and the same guy that kicked me off the track, he said, great job. I have to gallop a horse. And I was so scared, like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to do it. They trained this horse. They did everything they can do for me to look good. And I did. So I brought the paper back. It was the outrider. I can't remember his name back then. He signed it up, and he's like, I see you around. And with my really shy English at the time, I'm like, I don't think so. So I had never, ever ridden a race in Finger Lakes, even though I even wanted to at some point, or, a while back also. It hasn't happened, ironically. So.
Yeah, I don't think we touched on this when you were on before, but you said about English, and we had Pablo who said he learned it through SpongeBob. So how did you, do you have any crazy story like that?
Every single barn on the backside. That's how my English, every single barn, every tag room. That's how my English was developed, pretty much. Because if you want to call it racetrack English, I'll take it. That's how I learned it. And it's a great way to learn it. I mean, like, I was a good student until I started skipping school back then and at home and got in trouble. But English, it was one of my favorite classes back home in Puerto Rico. So growing up, I knew a little bit of English, just enough to engage if I wanted to, but I was too shy.
Another subject you said about the jockey that rides the long shot. I don't know if you can go into detail on this, but I don't think people are aware. Like, people think you guys make thousands of dollars a day. I don't think people are aware that if a jockey runs 4 or 5 mounts and they're all 60 to 1s and they never hit the board, how much they're actually making a week. what can you go in? I don't know what you can go into with that, but try to explain to people they're not making thousands of dollars for that.
I can give you a good example. If a fan outside racing or not even outside racing meet a jockey, what is the first question they ask? Have you ever won the Derby, the Kentucky Derby? Or have you ever rode in the Kentucky Derby? I have. Well, my first time, oh my God, how do you do? Not so good, but I rode the Derby. Oh, you must have made a lot of money. And I took home $100.
Right.
So it's kind of a harsh reality. It's like a football player playing the Super Bowl wouldn't be able to say that.
It humbles you for a second, right?
It humbles anybody.
Right.
Because it gives you a reality check. Really, from a fan, if I'm a fan, not a jockey, wow, I thought these guys make more than that for sure. But hey, we signed up for it. We know that if we win, the reward is great. And that's the life of a jockey, pretty much. You know what I mean? If you don't have any education, you're going to have to squeeze that lemon.
Absolutely. We have a question that came in from Fred. What kind of efforts have there been recently to increase rider safety?
Well, a lot of new data they're using at racetracks, a lot of technology that is on our side. When they first came out with this synthetic surface and all that, they had eliminated a lot of breakdowns and injuries, but they didn't do a whole lot of research for riders as far as injuries, because it's been a bone crusher for us. But for the most part, knock on wood, we don't have that many incidents in synthetics. I ride at Prescott for so many years, and I was one of the first riders that tried the surface at Lexington, Kentucky, before they installed it at Turfway.
Okay.
Because that's how it started in Kentucky. From what I understand, it was somewhere, was it Turf Paradise or some place that they tried before years ago. But nevertheless, when they first came ride, it was a Turfway for us, around Kentucky and places that I've been. And then, as far as equipment, they have come with a better standard helmets, better material, from carbon fiber, from all kinds of. So they are trying to improve a lot. The vest. At the end of the day, man, it just is very little for what we got to wear, for what we got to do. But any little things will help, of course.
Absolutely. So on the topic of apparel, let's talk about what you have on right now. Tell us about Fantac and how the fans get a piece of what you have.
Oh, well, this is a hat of the Fantac brand. They sent it to me in the mail the other day, and he asked me, can you wear it sometime? I'm like, well, I got a perfect time to wear it. And, I promised that I would wear it tonight, and here we are. So it's a great concept to interact with the fans too. I have friends recently in the last couple of weeks, friends from Kentucky that I haven't seen or talked to in years. They sent me a screenshot. Look what I got. Look what I got. And
that has to be so cool. I'm sure that makes you smile.
It is cool. We're not going to make lots of money over anything like that. It just, I do it for fun. I'm sure most of the guys do, but the people behind it, they have put a great concept, really. If we were more out there as professional athletes, jockeys, like baseball players, footballs, basketballs, it would be a big difference in our life.
Yourself at a higher standard, right? Across the board as athletes. I totally agree.
Our families, it would be life-changing for us. But listen, we'll take any little thing. This is just, jockeys are humble. We have to, we make the most of what we have.
Absolutely.
And that's the difference too. And where I think horse racing separates is I can get a Willie Martinez shirt, and if I have your number or see you at the track, I can say, hey, look at this. Whereas if you do that at a football game and you say that to Tom Brady's just to not even look your way and just keep walking. So I think that's something that separates horse racing. That's a positive.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we got to continue to do our job as number one. I always say, stay humble, you won't stumble, whatever. Just kind of,
I love that.
It doesn't cost anything. It really doesn't cost anything just to be a nice person and just to be nice to the fans. But Be thankful that they're there for you, and never ever forget. I always tell this to young riders too, because at an early age, early in my career, I was like, man, am I that good that I win 5 races a day? Said, am I that good? Wow, I'm that good. Well, I'm not that good. Horses are the biggest stars, regardless. It is horse racing, period. So as long as you accept that and you know, like we're good pilots, and in time you become better and better. You hope, anyways. So, but like horses are the biggest stars. They're there to
You
see the horses.
literally gave me goosebumps with that statement. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Horses are the stars, but you guys, you guys are absolute athletes. I mean, a rider, people can argue, oh, a rider can't, it's not really a rider that gets a horse to win. I've seen riders help horses plenty, and I've seen riders hinder it as well. So, you guys do you have an interesting job, and how exciting to get to run as fast as they can for a couple seconds, and but it is all glorified to the public, right? They see you, they see the 2 minutes, they think you're a superstar, they think you're a money man, and unless you're really in the business, they don't really know. So I love that we're being transparent here.
It's true what you say, Julie. Like when you look at such a powerful animal, and you see these little guys, little girls, and wearing white pants and being able to manage, like it's an attraction. It's kind of sexy, if you will. It's appealing.
It's a passion. It's adrenaline. It gets your it gets your adrenaline going, excitement. Yeah.
And you're watching that, and how can these little people do that? So we are athletes, pound for pound. I have tried many sports. Anybody that knows me closely, they know, I love boxing, baseball, basketball, whatever. Nothing that I have ever done in my life compared to riding races, or get ready to ride races. Even a boxer can cut weight 6 months from now to get prepared for one fight. How insane is that a jockey's got to cut weight every day to perform?
Every day. And that's something, we'll speak on here. Sean and I have been really speaking about mental health. And I think mental health actually ties in with weight, right? Proper nutrition and getting these youngsters to understand that, heaving or starving themselves or eating improperly, it's just not the way to do it coming in. So speak on that a little bit about how pulling weight absolutely ties in with the mental health aspect of being an athlete and staying strong in the business.
Well, to be honest with you, first of all, most of my career, I always been a lightweight rider. Up into as you get older, the body's not the same. So I say in the last 8-7 years, the body changes a little bit. Now every once in a while, you see me cut maybe 1 or 2 pounds, and I'm like, I want to die. How these guys do it? That I have so much respect, and I'm not gonna say names because we don't have to, right? So
right.
The guys that I had ridden for years, and now when I look back, and some of the ones that I ride now, man, how do you cut weight? Because I don't know how to lose weight. I just try to burn calories. I try to do the best that I got, but I do not know how to cut weight. But I know this guy do it every day, and I see what they put their body through it, and it's a shame to see some of the stuff that you see. You try to understand it, and it's sad at the same time,
right?
Because some of them do it for the passion that, okay, I'm running out of time, my frame is gonna, and that passion and you jeopardize so much, and it could be right at that moment in a long turn or even a short turn, and then it becomes your body mentally, you can only take so much. And Absolutely. Then another thing that this being a jockey does to you, when you have that taste of success, when you enter that winner's circle, there's no feeling. There's nothing you can describe to a human being how we feel there. You can't, because it's just amazing, and that messes up with your head too, with the young bloods too. Like I want to do it one way or the other, and that one way or the other, there's a price to pay, unfortunately, and they need to be more educated about. Listen, anything that we do to our bodies, regardless who you are, regardless what we're doing, it's a long-term consequences. There's consequences ahead. So I abuse my body every once in a while. My bad habits, but I try to give back. I try to get back at the gym. Try to do whatever I can. And if you don't take care of yourself, it's not gonna last long.
Let's just say there are former Hall of Fame jockey nominees that haven't seen 115 since his high school days, John De Silva says. So let me ask Willie, the whole issue with Churchill, how did that play out? Did they ever welcome you back?
They offer, like, immediately. It was on a Sunday when the overnight came out for a Wednesday. Gosh, I saved that overnight for so long because you're never going to see probably anything like it. Maybe in New York when they strike a while back, there was over 100 horses open with no riders.
Wow.
100 something realized that they knew it was serious.
Yeah.
And the agents and everybody's on the phone. It was just chaos around. And now the media, I contact, the minute I knew we were going to get kicked out, like, okay, I contact a late friend of mine, Chuck Instant, Homestead, that worked for one of the TV stations in Kentucky. And he immediately, I'll be there in 5 minutes, and they were right there. And now we got the ball rolling and all. And like, they offer us a basic package, and we're like, oh, cool, that sounds good. I forgot what it was. And when they say, but it's gonna cost you, and we stood up. Well, the ones that stood up are the ones that we got kicked out.
But so they kicked you out. After all said and done, you guys won, right? You got what you wanted.
Well, this is what happened. So now we got racetrack jockeys calling us from all over the country. We ready to pull the plug. We ready. Like, everybody's ready to fight now. Because now they find out they kicked out 14 jocks. Now this is serious. Something's going to happen.
Right.
Something's going to happen. Just a matter of time. But the first racetrack that pulled the plug, I never, ever going to forget it, because I'm watching it live as we driving. We went to meet up some jockeys at Hoosier Park, Indiana. And now on the way back, it's post time to come out for the first race. We're driving back to Churchill Downs. Me, Shane Sellers, Mark Guidry, Craig Perrett, and I forgot who else. We got a phone call, and like, okay, you guys watch. I don't know how we got on. Somebody's got on live. They canceled the races at Hoosier Park. There's only two riders standing. I'm not gonna say names. Standing outside the paddock out of 12 horses field. So that's when I knew, holy crap, we did it.
Yeah.
And like, we did it, because from this day on, something's gonna happen, and it's shifting to our side.
So I think the next level for jockeys, so we've been talking about mental health. Obviously, the unfortunate thing with Avery Wiseman has brought a lot of attention to this. How do we get more, whether it's a nutritionist, whether it's somebody to talk to mentally, how do we get that available for jockeys? And who do you feel would be responsible to provide something like that?
I don't want to, like, say who might be responsible for it. Not. First of all, Avery was, I make friends with him at Prescott this summer, and he was right next to me in my corner. So I know he's gonna hit me when I go back this summer. He's kind of still, and this young rider that just passed away here, Tampa Bay Downs the other morning. So it's been kind of crazy and sad, really sad lady. So as far as nutrition, I think the industry could help. I mean, I don't know what it takes, how much it will cost to hire a chef in a Jackson sometimes, and just kind of maintain it. Like, hey, forget about the candy bars, man. You want to have a piece of fish, you want to have one in the Jackson, because you do get hungry throughout races. Imagine spending in the Jackson so much time, and it gets hot, and you want to drink, but the body can only take so much.
A lot of rooms have kitchens, but yes. not all of them. And
yeah,
I think I think these things kind of need to be the standard in all rooms. Like, if you choose to ride where it's your home track, where you come ship into Charlestown or you ship into Indiana, why are certain things not available for you everywhere and only in certain places? And that, as an athlete, and That's my thing. I mean, I know guys, we don't have a hot box.
Yeah, I mean,
box, you know.
I'm not surprised. It's just like with
But how do we get even basic level of care for the riders across the board in the United States?
We have to fight hard. We have to fight together. I mean, the guild has been working a lot. This new guild, they done a lot. They done a great job. A lot of people have different opinions, their own opinions. My opinion is like, they're trying. They're trying to get the right people behind it. It's just sometimes, as time goes by, some things are forgotten, put it in the back burner. We just continue to do these, and let's focus on that. But we do, most of the racetracks do have a jockey's kitchen. You see, but we don't have maybe a menu that you can say, it's going to be healthy for you. You're not going to put your body through, whatever.
That benefits what you're doing, right?
Exactly.
It's all fried food or candy bars or soda pop. Yeah.
And like I say, we all have our cravings or bad habits. That's going to happen, but in so many ways, educate these young riders coming up. Listen, I mean, you can cut corners and try to do whatever you can to make the way, but at the end of the day, this is not what you're supposed to do. Do this, do that. I don't know. Try to, some Jackson has a fitness center, something, equipment. So, that helps too. And because some of the guys don't have time to go to the gym. They got to run on the track. They got to put the hot suit. Some of the guys riding in the wintertime, they don't get that luxury.
Right.
How do you cut weight? So straight to the box, that's all you know. That's all your body knows. So is that the water weight comes right back. So it's tough. But hopefully in time that could change, because
it needs to.
I don't know.
I feel that some of the rules, and this is my personal opinion, but a lot of the guys that we interview do agree, some of the things that are evolving and some of these rules that are coming out as far as the medication changes or whatever they're trying to do with riders, let's start with the basic needs that the riders need. In my personal opinion, you are athletes, and these tracks should be supporting you all more. Supporting you all more, not just at NYRA or, at big places that you get the more publicity. Yeah. I feel like people say, you're comparing minors to MLB. Well, that's because we think like that. Why can't we elevate and keep us all on at least maybe not an even money field, right? Because purses are going to differ, but at least with the athletes, keep that on an even playing field. Why should you be treated differently at one colony and then be treated a different way when you ship out? That doesn't sit right with me.
Absolutely.
TD chimed in, your fellow nominee. He said, we need to have nutritionists available for us to speak with. I love that.
Yeah.
So one of my points, and I said this before, and I won't mention names, but don't you think some of the websites that are open to gambling and are making a ton of money off, without you guys, there is no horse racing? Shouldn't they step up with something? And I also say, and I'm sure you would agree with this, but if somebody stepped up right now and did this, they would get so much publicity from it, it would pay more than it would cost. Not only that, but the jockeys would totally support it, wear their logo on their pants or whatever. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, there's so many ways to look at it. I just, we're here to speak the truth, not to talk bad about, anything. There's obviously something wrong with our industry. We know that for years. You have the big dogs and you got the little dogs, and then what's in the middle, in between, whoever. But then the money shows up out of nowhere to build a $1 billion grandstand, and money just keeps showing up, and you see the gaming projects and this and that, and some tracks they do have that the backbone which is called, they give the guild, the jockeys cut, the jockey media rights,
right,
and things like that. There used to be a thing back in the days. I don't think they do it anymore. Like on a winning ticket, you can take out a cent or something like that, and it will go towards the industry, to us, to the backside, to this is not just the jockeys, the backside in general.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, horses live better than human beings on the backside. This is just insane.
Facts. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because
So
you've
we're at
seen
30.
it.
Yeah. So we're at 35 minutes of this conversation, and right, like Terry Houghton, you guys both proved why you're the George Wolf. We sit here and you're not talking about yourself. You're talking about how we can improve the game. But let's take the last 10, 15 minutes and talk about Willie Martinez. Obviously, you rode at Presque Isle. I think you got injured a little bit, right? Are you coming back? Do you plan on riding in Tampa, or are you just going to go right to Presque Isle?
I don't know if I ride in Tampa, but I'll be getting on horses hopefully soon here. And if I get to ride a race, so maybe I will or not. If not, just go straight to Presque Isle Downs, So it's just a minor injury, some ligaments and wear and tear. And I had a horse that I had in a race broken rein going into the first turn, and I have little issues here and there with my hands, so I felt the pop immediately going into the first turn. Like, oh man! So it started hurting. For the last month of Presque Isle I rode in a lot of pain, but I have to just block and just get through it, and knew that if I come here, just take care of it and rest up and come back again.
So when do we plan to head back to Presque Isle?
Well, they keep saying different dates, so we don't know. They keep changing the dates.
So like whenever they let me.
Yeah, I'm hoping and pray I get my apartment on time. That's the only thing. Because if I need my apartment at a certain date. You know what I mean? I can't change, So we'll see. I heard different dates. And like the 11th, the 1st, which to me that was kind of insane, kind of crazy. What's the logic behind that? But I'm sure they know what they're doing. But it's like they're overlapping with Tampa Bay Downs. There's a lot of us that go there, So
Right.
Who knows? But I'm always excited to go to Presque Isle, friends, and get back in action. And,
So do you ship out around the area of Presque Isle once you are there, or do you just stay put?
Every once in a while, if you're riding for people like that are running horses, like let's say either at Thistledown, even Mountaineer for a stake, or Woodbine. So it depends. If you have a decent horse, I don't mind to travel. I'm ready. I've been all over the place. So I love to travel, and I love to ride big races. I love it.
Is there anywhere that you haven't ridden, or a race that you haven't ridden that is on a bucket list for you, like something that you want to do before you're done with riding?
I really exceeded my expectations and beyond. So I'm really, there was a time where the Royal Ascot racing started getting really familiar, and then I think trainers like Wesley Ward and all that got people more hyped up to go there, and our horses.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that would be cool to stand, rest in peace, the Queen, Elizabeth, and just check that part on the other side, check the racing, and their surfaces and all that. It looked very interesting. I've been, fortunate enough to be in Dubai and Japan, so I had seen a little bit the difference, but not really. Not really. No. I'm gonna say, I don't know. I just, I think I fulfill a lot of my dreams and more. So, whatever comes, is a plus. If it comes.
Let's start the hype train and get you some rides for PA Derby Day at Parks, and then I'll be at Parks too. There you go.
Yeah. Or if you have a good PA bred, go there. Yeah, you never know. Hey, I got a phone call here in Tampa in the Jackson one day. Kenny, my pick, said, "You want to come ride the Derby?" Hey, here I go. So it was Noble's Promise, which I have won at Presque Isle Downs and also at Keeneland. And I didn't know at the time, well, maybe they want me in the Derby, maybe not. They had all the riders in front of me, and they couldn't get there. And Kenny is a personal friend of mine. Kenny McPeak is a great trainer, big name. And I'm like, sign me up. We're on 5th. It's the closest that I finished in the Derby. So Noble's Promise, it was a good horse, just a limited distance.
That is so cool. Mm-hmm. So we have Sean Nolan here. Willie, Antonio won't answer my question. He rides Presque Isle and Woodbine 7 days a week and then right back down to Tampa. Which type of batteries does he ride on? You're the best, Willie.
Oh, my God.
Jamie said Antonio is not a normal human. Energizer Bunny. And then, of course, Terry, come to Golden Gate. My wife and you will wine and dine, both of you and Jamie, and I'll just come in the suitcase. Me and Sean will just roll it.
Come on, let's go. Hey, if we win this award, it's gonna be hard to pull it, but we will end up in California. But yeah, no, Antonio is a different breed. He rides unlike he rides every day and all that. Bless his heart, but that's tough to do. It's tough. I used to ride 3-4 racetracks a day when I was in Kentucky. I don't miss that at all. I miss the success, or the winning, riding good horses at the time, having a good agent and this and that. But I do not miss the driving at all.
When do you find out about the George Woolf? When's the winner announced?
Wow, you have to ask Jamie or somebody like her. I don't know.
I really don't know. I know the Eclipse will enter tomorrow, but that's a separate thing.
You have to look it up.
I'm just nominated. I don't know when they announce it. I'm just nominated.
Isn't it next month?
And I'm going to try to look it up. I thought I tried to look it up, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping it was tomorrow, since I know the Eclipse
Awards are tomorrow, but I guess not.
Yeah. It can be that far off, far away.
Let's see if I can pull it here.
So let's talk about last Prescott meet. You had a pretty successful meet.
Yeah, I mean, I had a great summer. I can't complain. I mean, I cracked in the top 5 or 6 and barely missed the $1 million mark. I was so upset about that because we had to cancel the races the last day. You heard about that the last night. Just to show you the craziness sometimes. But I don't know how much money earnings I was just to hit the $1 million. I'm like, again, would have been great. I told Jamie, man, that really made me sad because, Pablo, of course, has a bang-up meeting. He makes 2-3 millions and all that, and he rides you around. But for me and Antonio as well, all those top guys there. So for me sitting here and coming out of the cage, and I'm like, here comes the old timer. Man, I wanted to just hit that mark, and but I had a great summer.
Willie, tell us about the win pictures behind you, winning 5 and 7 races daily.
So as you know, I picked a different side of the studio because I didn't like Jamie's chair. This is all hers.
I was gonna say the paint looks the same, but the decor is a little different. So show us what you got going on there.
You want me to give you a tour? Okay.
Yeah, why not?
So here's the 7 wins at Ellis Park in one day. If you can see it.
What year was that? 1993. Oh, cool.
1993, and a tornado. They almost canceled the races. If you can tell from the first race to the middle of the cut, it changed it.
Wow.
A lot of people had told me, I cropped that picture. You never won 7 races. Look at it. It was a tornado.
That's so funny.
Yeah, so that was, and then you have the New Orleans handicap, Alan Soup, the Alpha Blazer grade 2 at Keeneland scratch pad. These in 97 at Turfway several times, went 5 in one day and all that. At Churchill the same year. And not to mention that Keeneland, it was included the same year. I won 5 in one day at Old Tracks that same year, different meets. And I'm missing Keeneland. That's one that I, that was the year I was leading rider at Keeneland in 97. So that wouldn't make me, win 5 races at Old Track in Kentucky that year. So
you still own the most stake wins at Turfway?
I'm tied with Pat Day.
Wow, that's incredible.
To this day, I have the most titles, but he has the most. I mean, at the time he had the most stakes win, and I tie him. And to this day, I have people like, come up here and find me a stake horse. I know they make it worth it,
Well, Jamie, you have literally a piece of racing history as a husband. So that is so amazing. I'm so intrigued by all of the old pictures. And Willie, I'm just going to say, I didn't know you were as old as you are. I'm going to be honest. So Jamie, you're keeping him well. I mean, he said he started at 16 and 88.
Watch it.
I told him I was born in 88. So that gave me a little perspective. He started, out at the racetrack, and I was just being born. So that's really amazing. Really, really amazing to see some of that old, the old wins and stuff. Really cool. Let me ask, as we wrap the show up, you have a little boy now. What if he decides he wants to ride? You ready?
I'm not going to stop and
I shouldn't say boy, because I shouldn't say boy. That's very sexist of me. You have the girls too. If any of your little ones say they want to ride races, are you ready?
Well, they all ride horses at grandma's farm, so it's already in their blood. Mateo, when he first got around horses, would not get close. He would panic and freak out, and that's a little boy. And Jamie would always make fun of it, and to me, just trying to pick on me. He's gonna be a wimp. He'll never ride races. I'm like, oh, whatever. If he wants to, he wants to. If not, whatever. So now, when you put him on a horse and you get him off, good luck. So he'll throw the biggest fit. He'll get mad at grandma and everybody. So he likes being on top of horses. He's got his own equicizer. He thinks he's already doing something right in the Kentucky Fried Derby or something.
We love it. And you guys all use the equicizer. I see you, Jamie, the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love to see it.
That's my main Chris Fox, my critter. He makes some good exercises.
Well, maybe I need to get the link and get one for Andre over
Yeah,
here.
you should.
He sold his a long time ago when he moved. So
trying to find this George Woolf announcement. Last year in March, Blood Horse announced it when Joe Bravo won. So maybe it's the beginning of March. But that's another thing. Why do we find out in articles and stuff? Let's bring you all on Horse Racing Today. Somebody give us the winner. Julie will open the envelope and announce the winner and make a big deal about this thing.
I like the idea.
We get one person on doing the drum roll. I'll do the intro. Get somebody with like a light. We could totally do a big deal here.
Let's make that happen.
I like the idea. Yeah. Now, so listen, like I said, I'm sure, as TD, Maldonado, who is it, Castellano, Centeno. I'm sure these guys,
right?
They already feel like winners, because to put that trophy here somewhere, it's a big thing to me. So hopefully, if we don't get it this year, we'll get it some other year.
Well, either way, what an honor, Willie. Thank you so much for coming on with us tonight and being an open book. I asked Jamie, is there anything I should, and she told me a long time ago, Willie's so easy to talk to. So thank you so much, for just sharing and being transparent with some of the issues in the industry and what you've done and continue to try to do to, change that. We are rooting on you, Terry, all the nominees. We cannot wait for the results. We'll definitely have to do something special. Obviously we had you and Terry on, so I'm sure we're rooting for one of you guys, one of you, because you guys are friends of ours, personal. So,
Sure.
Yeah, we look forward to 2023 too and seeing what Prescott holds for you. And I'm going to do a little history research when I get off the computer, and I want to look up that Churchill incident. I got educated tonight. I learned something. So
it's interesting when you look back, because that's the reason the riders today ride under the $1 million policy, because of that day.
Okay.
So I'm always going to be proud of that. I'm not going to be. I cannot take credit by myself, obviously, but I have to say that it was a proud moment to stand up and knew that, but you learn at the same time. Was this really guy next to me was my friend? Or you find out who your friends are really, really quick.
Absolutely.
When your job was in jeopardy, and when, I don't want to say when whoever wanted to show the biggest, when the day came, we find out real quick.
And I think, I won't get too far into it because we are running out of time here, but I think that's kind of anytime anybody tries to make change at a racetrack, I feel like there's a lot of initial kickback, right? People kind of say, oh yeah, I got you. And then when you go up to make the change, you're almost standing by yourself. What do you think that is? That'll be my final question for the night. Why do you think there's always a little bit of, I don't know if I want to really make the change, even though they know it will benefit us? People are afraid to get kicked out. I mean, is that really what it comes down to?
I mean, come on. It really is intimidated. If you have a small stable, and we're not going to mention racetracks names.
Sure.
There's places that can tell you, see you later. You don't have to like it here, because we don't need you. That's how they treat you, right?
Right.
And I've seen it before. I've seen it with personal friends. Pack up and leave. That's how much, it's crazy. It's all political. But if you have the right people behind you, and in your heart, you believe in what you stand for, it could be done. At the end of the day, I promise you, it could be done. You cannot crack, but it has to be together. You can't divide yourself, because
cannot divide and conquer, right?
You got to make a full force. You cannot make just, you know what I mean? Like if a tsunami hits all at once, it's not gonna hit in. You know what I mean? Like So that's pretty much
Well,
what I
you've
believe
got
on.
so much support. You've got TD saying Willie's the best to interview. He's so well spoken. TD, you had a wonderful interview also Monday. Jamie,
I'm
most
second best.
Jamie said most handsome guest we've ever had. Yeah, until Monday when my husband comes on. And then we've got Horseman 78. I think this is one of Tampa's gate guys. Willie, that's right. Tell the truth. So everybody loves you, Willie, and your wife, Jamie, here at Horse Racing Today, and all of our fans. So thank you again. Have a wonderful evening, and I'm sure we will definitely have you on later this year. See what happens. Let's get the results.
Guys. I love you guys. Don't worry. Hey, Sean, you guys, I will wear my shirt next time. It was Mateo's fault.
Oh! All right.
I have to get an extra one. I couldn't find Jamie's. I don't know.
Oh, she hit it on you.
I love how you guys share clothes too. It's not just us over here. That's great.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Willie. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right. Good night.
Bye.
Oh, he's awesome.
Absolutely.
He's awesome.
But, they really should. I mean, we're doing this with the Eclipse Award tomorrow. Why an award like the George Woolf Award, which is, more like what you've done for the sport, like your personality, like why is that not celebrated? Why is there not a show on that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Let's make that happen. Let's make that happen right here.
I'm down. We can make our own. We can do our own George Woolf Award show. Totally.
Yeah,
down.
but we need to not for everybody else to know the winner. So we need to know it first so we can announce it to the public. So we need them to go. We need them to go with that.
I don't know. Maybe we can maybe if one of the winners, one of our friends, we can make him act like he didn't know. Do a little
no, there's no acting going on in here.
What? I was so surprised. All right. Well, I think that's a really awesome way to wrap up Horse Center Wednesday night. We had a stellar week with Terry, Lori, and now Willie. Thanks, Sean. All the best and great health, my friend. Going to Willie. And John De Silva says, I think it was announced on TVG last year. So
okay, maybe it is, but I think it's one of those. It's it's not an award show. Like there's not this big thing like tomorrow night with the Eclipse Award. So I'm not sure why that is.
I don't know either. And you would think as long as it's been going on that it would be televised or broadcasted somewhere. But let's see. Maybe you should check with TVG and see if they are doing some type of announcement.
Yeah, I'll check. Yeah.
All right. Well, tell us what we got coming up next week.
Next week on Horse Center? Well, Monday. Well, first off, you did 3 days, then you had a couple weeks off, 2-3 weeks off, and now you've done 9 straight episodes and done a great job. So now you get a break. Jamie will be back Monday, and we have your husband Andre Ramjeet on, and then Tuesday Alberto Burgos, and Wednesday Jesus Castanon.
Oh, she's got a great card coming back. Well, I'm excited for Jamie to take over. I am getting out of the saddle, and I will be back in 2 weeks. I'll be back sitting watching the show, enjoying it with you guys, and I'm sure I'll comment and say hello. All right. Well, that takes us wire to wire for the week. I will see you guys back in 2 weeks. Jamie jumps on with you all next Monday, and we'll see everybody else in the
Winner Circle.
Winner Circle.